I've done a few proposals in my day, and I definitely have a few tips that will help you get the best looking footage possible. For those who are interested, I also made a photography version on my channel, so be sure to check that out. So first up, similarly to my photography one, I'm going to recommend a medium range lens. A good medium range or even long range lens, depending on where you are and the vicinity and also where the actual proposal is, like outside or inside. This will make it a lot easier to figure out what you actually have to do. Personally, I will say one thing is do go on the wider side because you can actually capture a lot more. If you're trying to capture more of the people and not as much of like close-ups, then it'll make life a lot easier for you and you'll not likely miss your shot and you'll get everything properly. Number two is, especially if you're able to, shoot in a higher resolution. Reason being is that if you have more resolution to play with, then you're able to zoom in and crop in certain places. So you might be able to create 3 different shots from having a higher resolution footage. Number 3 is, like I mentioned before, shoot your highest resolution, but shoot in 60p for whatever the highest resolution is. So for example, one of my cameras does 4K 60, which is fantastic and it's pretty much the standard. If you can go even higher, even better. But the reason I'm saying this is that you are able to play with both slow motion and normal motion. In my opinion, there is a difference between 30 and 60 FPS, but I definitely think that it's not as easily seen, especially to those who are not using a trained eye. So like people who are not into photography and videography or like super nerdy into that stuff, they're not going to care as much about, what's the difference between 30 and 60. To me, it also looks the same for the most part. Trust me, you'll see the flexibility and being able to use slow-mo whenever you can, and it'll save your butt a lot of times. And this is especially if you're not having one camera running slow motion and another one running like normal 24 or 30 FPS. This will just make it a little bit easier so you can have the flexibility of both. And I asked a lot of people for proposal stuff and wedding stuff, what you would shoot in. That's what they recommended because it gives you a good middle ground. And number 4 is shoot on a gimbal or some kind of rig or even a tripod. Might sound a little bit obvious, but if you can, try to shoot in these different ways because it'll make it a lot easier. And I will actually say even a tripod in some cases because it's just going to make it so you get a very steady shot and you're capturing it because you don't have to go like circle around them or have like a really cool cinematic thing necessarily. You can kind of do that after and pose for that instead. But if you're trying to get the actual like reaction and everything, like the original reaction, then you might want to shoot on tripod just to make it so that you're for sure locked in and there's no issue, there's no stability issue whatsoever. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. And one final bonus tip, if you can, is shoot in log. If you're comfortable and you can color grade or at least color correct, you'll be able to get a lot more flexibility out of your footage, and doing this will just make it look even more cinematic. If you can't, shoot in a neutral color profile. For example, I have a 90D, which is a fantastic camera by the way, but it can only shoot in like a neutral profile. There's no log or anything on it. So instead, there's a neutral color profile, which has all zeros next to it, meaning that there's not any adjustments to the picture. This will just create like a more flat look, and then you can go in and like saturate things and do a few minor tweaks here and there. So these are a few key things I think you should remember when you're doing videography for a proposal. Definitely a few things that will just make a big world of difference that you may not think about right away, like apart from mics, lights, etc. Those things I think are more obvious, but do pay attention to those too. So I really hope you enjoyed. If you want to see another cool video, be sure to look at this one over here or check out the channel right over here. Also, if you want to hit me up on social media, I'm also available right over here for any questions, and I'd love to interact with some of you. Hope to see you next video. Peace.